Let's play. Great. So thank you all for coming. I hope this is an entertaining night. Some of you have seen some of my things in the past, but I try to make this a bit different. I'm expecting to make this very interactive with you guys, but I'll be also the timekeeper as well, so we have time to do some networking also at the end. So to start, I'm starting with this video. A very quick video. Hi. Please come in, Alessia. I'm starting with a very quick video. Of course, this is from video games, and we will talk about video games. This is a gamification speak as well. But this is the hardest question I'm going to ask today of you. Does anyone look at this image and does this refer to something in your head, something that's familiar to you, this specific image, besides who played the game? Someone tried to say something, but I couldn't hear. Zelda. No, yeah, Zelda is the game. Besides the game, don't worry. This, sorry? Yes, good. Similar to that. Great. So that was the hardest question. So I had to have this one so that you guys say, okay, I'm jumping in on the next one. This is a dilemma that I'm going to answer at the final slide. Okay, so just keep that in mind and let's start. So this is me. I'm Renato Carbone, or Renato Carbone for my Italian friends here. I'm a loyalty strategist, and some of you are here to try to finally see if you know what the hell a loyalty strategy is, and probably you will know this through this talk. I love cooking, especially barbecue, dogs, and I'm looking for people that want to play basketball. Tim, I have 2 already, great. 3, so let's book that. 4, this is my lucky day. So all the rest from now is just pleasure, right? Because I already got what I needed. So this is Stella, my wife, the CEO of my life, and this is Luca, our son. And he is the 2 times lottery winner. Marta knows this joke, but basically it's just because he's here and he looks like the mother, right? Thanks God. So today we are going to talk how gamification can help you in engagement, retention, or acquisition. And for us to do that, I decided to start with this video to give you guys some, let's level up us in what gamification can be. So I'm playing this video. It's a 2-minute video, but I believe everything that we will see here is relevant.
Hi, I'm Kevin Richardson. I'm the winner of Volkswagen's Fun Theory Award. My idea was the speed camera lottery. Could we get people to pay the speed limit for fun? I really believe that fun can change human behavior for the better, and I was really thrilled to see that my idea, which started as a scribble submitted into this competition, might even become reality. The speed camera lottery would do 2 things. One, it would photograph speeders, give them a citation, and that money goes in a pot. But if you're obeying the law, your picture will also get snapped. You'll be entered into a lottery and win some of that money from those speeders.
Jag kör alltid lagligt, men tveksamt vem vinner.
Det är en bra positiv grej det där. Kör lagligt och tjäna deg, det är perfekt.
That's enough. So, yeah, I made the slide in case the video didn't play. You never control internet, but just to make sure everyone understood the idea. So we are taking the normal radars that we have that are giving us citations if we are above the limit, and that money goes nowhere. It doesn't do no good for no one. But maybe if that money could come to me, because I follow the norms, maybe I'll be more interested in following the rules. So he used the word fun a lot, and there are a lot of elements here that make this look like fun things. So it's fun and ludic, but they are not the key components that made the reduction of 22%. There was something for me, like the world would be better and I could get some money, because we don't want, if everyone is following the speed limit, we would have way less problems that we have in traffic right now. So after watching this video and maybe bringing what you already know about this, could you guys try to shout it out, what you think that gamification is?
Applying game techniques into real world systems or situations.
Good, this is one option.
It's like a way to attract new people to our brand or something, like in a different way.
It is, it's also valid. Anyone else?
Creating a better type of retention so you can actually see it as a game and play.
Good, yes. And when you say game and play, when you say a new type of engagement and adding game elements, all those three things, and for all of you that are in the WhatsApp group, there was the question that Jamili asked. So is fun the main component? So we had two different types of answer, but it's winning the number one here. I agree 100%, let's have more fun. And yes, we could do that for having more fun. If the radars were like that, maybe we were having more fun in regular things in our lives. But the other answer, and all answers could be valid, but here, fun can be a component, but it's not necessarily the central element. And that's what I'm going to discuss with you guys now. And before I explain my view on gamification for you all, I need to first say that the element of fun, or the importance of fun in gamification or games, is something that is embedded into our lives since we were very young. So everyone watched this movie. And maybe you don't remember the citation, but it's there from 80 years ago, 60 years ago. In every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. You find the fun and snap, the job is a game. So that's what we were looking for our whole lives, right? When we were young. Yeah, jobs are not boring and repetitive, but they actually is. So maybe gamification could help us change that. Before we go on, the people that are here that don't consider themselves gamers, I'll not say to stand up because it will, but you could raise your hand. So if you are here and you are not a gamer, interesting. Wow, their hands are, there are too many hands now. Great, guys. So this is the first group exercise that we're going to do here. For all of you that, it will be easier if you keep your hands up again, very, very quickly. I need a hobby from you guys. If that hobby is not a sport, put your hand down. Your main hobby. Okay, so the ones that have hand up. Marta, what's your hobby?
Dancing.
Dancing.
Considering dance sport. I mean, the Olympics probably disprove that, but...
Yeah, you are already ahead. You, man, what's your hobby?
Board games.
Board games. No, I'm looking for the people that are sports. Where are the people with sports? I'm confused. You, what's your sport?
Mine?
Yes.
Wakeboard.
Wakeboard. Daniela?
Gym counts?
Counts.
What's a sport?
Yours?
Running.
Running. Great. The guy, Jamili-san, what's your sport? Rugby. Great. So I use him. Sports. Rugby. Hey man, was rugby at the Olympic Games?
I don't think so.
No? It must have been, but in case I'm wrong, it's called Olympic Games for some specific reason. So I was asking for sports because yes, all sports are also games through my games and gamification definition. All the others like dancing and whatever other answers we would have, I hope I'll convert you guys in gamers now. So this is my approach on from games to gamification, and all these images and things that you can read are books because you will receive then the material. So these are books. Some of them have links to TED Talks that could help you look a bit more about this if you are interested in this subject. So let's start with games. What is a game? Because when we were saying fun, are all games fun? No, there are bad games, there are games that are not meant to be fun, and that's it. So, what is a game? A game is a voluntary action to solve an unnecessary problem. What this means? This means that every activity that we do because we like doing that, because we want to do that, we want to dance, we want to do wakeboard, we want to do rugby, all those activities are voluntary actions to solve an unnecessary problem. If I say here, hey Thiago, let's sprint to see who gets into the wall first, it's a voluntary action to solve an unnecessary problem, but we want to do that, to see who gets that first or whatever. So everything that we do, that we are not doing because we are obligated to do, could be considered a game. Like what we are doing right now. This talk is a game. And I'll explain more why. In the second column here, we have elements about games. So we are now forming a path from games to gamification. All games are consisted by known rules and hidden mechanisms. What this means is, I said that this talk is a game, and you all know the rules of this game. I'm talking. So if you guys start talking, not in the moments I ask you guys to talk, the talks it won't work. We won't be able to keep the momentum here. And there are many other things happening here, like the hidden mechanisms. I'm cold as fuck. I don't know you guys. I thought when I was starting to do this, I would be hot, but I'm not. Also, this is another rule.
Sorry, I was putting this.
Don't worry. This is another rule that we all know that we need it. And we need it because of the third block here, that is, if we are playing a game, we are all entering a magic circle. So if inside this magic circle that we are not everyone following by the rules, right, Kiki? If everyone is not following by the rules, there is no game. It's impossible for us to play this. So yes, in soccer or football, we are playing it and we can't touch the ball with the hand. If someone starts doing that, stop the game or remove the guy from the game, because we can't play that game together because someone is not following by the rules. And the final one, the most important one, I brought a guy here, bald guy here, to talk about a bit more about this as well, is all games have the ability to teach us things we are good at or can be good at, because games are mainly consistent on activities that we do practice and repeat, like dancing. Every time I'm going to dance, I'm learning new moves or I'm doing things differently, and I'm learning through that journey. That's why we love games, or we like games so much, or the sports or the activities that we do. Every time that we practice that, we are becoming better, okay? And at the end, so my final definition of gamification, and I would say it's mine. Other people also use that definition, but it's not the most common one. ChatGPT doesn't use that, but maybe I'll create so many content that they will start giving us a new answer. Gamification is a design focused on human motivation, not functionality. So when we saw the video for Volkswagen, and we are going to see a lot of new references. We are doing gamification because we want to incentivize people to do this more. So a good example here. Celia was going to sit there. I was going to do this joke with her, but her main activity is surfing, right?
Yes.
And surfing is an Olympic game as well. But is surfing something that we could say is a game or gamification? Don't worry. So, surfing is a game, is a voluntary action to solve an unnecessary problem.
And to get better through practice.
And you get better through practice and things like that.
You have rules?
There are rules, but where is the gamification in surfing? It's in the championships. So when you are surfing to accumulate points and you are surfing in different beaches and getting and ranking up so that you can go to the Olympics, that are the gamification elements we are adding to the activity of surfing so that we do this more and we want to do this more and want to do who gets the higher waves and things like that. So gamification is when we start adding additional elements. And when I said surfing, we are giving points for the guys getting the waves, but they are not coins like in Mario. They don't need to be fun and ludic, but we are using those game elements or those elements in order for us to keep motivated doing that. And there are so many apps that help us do the activities that we do that are unnecessary and make us do them more. So this is what I am recommending you to consider that is gamification, is adding those additional layers to the activity to make the users do it more. Okay? So, moving on. Now, a brief part about myself. Okay? So, for you to understand what I do and why I talk about gamification so passionately, you need to understand about my world, the world I came from. And yes, I'm Brazilian, but that's not the word I'm talking about. I'm talking about this world that we all live in the apps that are creeping on our phones, or cards cluttering our wallets. So, Cartão Continente, Cartão Pingo Doce, and many dumb variations like clubs, family. You all are part of one of them. But in reality, this is me when I started this journey 7 months ago, and I started going and visiting the stores and seeing what are the points they are offering in those relationship programs. I'm a loyalty strategist, and I help brands design relationship programs that are normally those points that aren't used for anything. And we can discuss that more later, but I'm visiting Pingo Doce, FENAC, IKEA, and many others, and I found this research that was done in April 2024 that tell us that the Portuguese are one of the worst in the loyalty programs. They don't trust that. They don't like it.
It's true.
So half of the Portuguese and us, because people that were interviewed in Portugal, and was 2,600 people, replied that they are part of no loyalty program. But hey, when I moved here, I knew that there were 3 things that I need to do. Get a chip for my phone, get the Cartão Continente, that was very important, and I forgot the third one, but Cartão Continente was definitely the second, and what I did. And you all have some form of that. So I help companies design those relationship strategies using gamification and incentives, and I forgot what's the next slide. Let's discover together. And it stopped working, just because, I don't know. Go. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. I help brands design relationship strategies, and I believe that most brands don't know what are their relationship strategies, because most brands master the game of acquisition. They are only focusing on bringing you for the first time. They know their media activities, they know their reputation, they know the campaigns and promotions they do. But once you decide to become our customer, and we say that all users are at the center of the strategy, the message that we are giving them is fragmented because it's coming from multiple areas that are taking decisions and saying how our brand thinks about the world and try to bring you closer. So what I've came to the conclusion is that most strategies fail, these relationship strategies, because they don't understand the motives. Why are us or why are the customers returning? So let's give an example like Continente. When we go to Continente, we go because we need to attend to a basic need. We need to buy food for our house. That's the main reason. But is Continente the most convenient one where you live? Probably not. Maybe it's Pingo Doce, maybe it's Lidl. Doesn't matter. There is a supermarket that you are regular because you need to buy things for basic needs. And all those supermarkets believe that if they start adding carrots or sticks, so if they start adding points or adding new mechanisms to make you come back, you will come back more often. Because why not? Why not go to Continente and get a 10% cash back in the current purchase? This would be the carrot. And the stick is, if you don't come back in 1 week, you lose that money. So they use all those strategies to incentivize us to keep coming back, but we don't know the motive why they are coming back. So because we are doing those incentives, week after week, we are just making people more anxious or frustrated and saying, fuck that, forget the cards, forget the points, just let me buy it, right? I'm here because of whatever. You don't understand me, you send me a lot of emails for fucking whatever that I don't know, so forget it. What the brands need to understand, and we all need to understand, is when we do things that we like, all the hobbies that we were discussing, we do it for our own satisfaction, okay? Let's skip the music, but yes, when we look at this, and this book is very interesting, the TED Talk is very interesting, Drive 3.0, the truth about what motivates us. I really like this concept. Yes, we do things to attend basic needs. We do things because of extrinsic rewards. So if someone offers me a benefit for participating in whatever, probably I'll do that in a short period. But for me to keep practicing this, like Celia, I'm trying to surf. She said, I'm surfing, but I'm not getting good at. But I love this, and I'll keep doing that because I like this. So if brands are not trying to understand us and creating mechanisms to connect with us, to make us engage with them because we like doing that, because we feel recognized by doing that, because we feel that we are improving depending on what we are talking about, there's no way that we fix this game only giving points that no one redeems, okay? So let me show you a real example on how gamification has already transformed us. It's not that example for Volkswagen that they use only once and created this very fun video and we say, that would be nice. Let's say how gamification has transformed all of us. This is the catchphrase for one big company. We ignite opportunity by setting the world in motion. Anyone would dare to say which company it is? Yes. Yes. So Uber, and it keeps saying, what started as a way to tap a button to get a ride has led to billions of moments of human connection. Very powerful. Marketing is great, right, people? So it's very powerful. But why Uber has already transformed us? Because they have solved the weirdest problem. The weirdest problem. What it is?
Talking to the driver.
Almost. One step prior to that. Job? Wait.
Knowing when the driver arrives.
No, that almost. What? You are all right. Do it. No. Yes, do it. Do it louder.
Going into a stranger's car.
Boarding a stranger's car. We are doing this. I did this. Probably half of you did this today. We are boarding a stranger's car. Things that we know that we can't do. we shouldn't do, and we are doing this a lot. And the most interesting thing is the way they solve this is 100% by gamification, and you will see the next when I put the button. But before I do that, are you all familiar with Black Mirror? Yeah. Black Mirror, the Netflix series.
Yes.
The Netflix series that talks about futures, weird things, and probably you watched that one and said, this is never happening. Right? That girl, and then she lost stars, and she wasn't able to get a ride, wasn't able to pay for anything. This is exactly how Uber transformed the world. They created exactly this world, where by a 1 to 5 feedback that I gave with no instructions. We are using Uber for 10 years, and we have no idea what should be a 5-star ride, 4-star ride. We have our own freedom to choose how we decide it's 5-star or 4-star, but they give us with the stars, with the badges. In 3 seconds, we can look at the app and say, hey, this guy made 10,000 travels with 5 stars and whatever. I'm boarding that car. So they used gamification to make us do the most weird decision in our lives, boarding a stranger's car. And that's what most apps that we use and like, they have gamification in their core drive decisions. So Uber was one, everyone knows about Duolingo. There's a lot of apps here great. There's a lot of apps here that use a lot of gamification techniques, and I'm going to talk about one in particular. This one. This video is in Portuguese, but I have subtitles in English, and please pay a lot of attention.
Pô, tô jogando aqui tranquilão, pra relaxar, você vem falando.
Ai, não entendo como é que você consegue relaxar jogando isso o dia inteiro, sério?
Funciona pra mim, se você jogar, se você entender.
Ah, é? Então me mostra, o que você tá fazendo aí?
É tipo um joguinho de carta, tá vendo? Aí tem várias figuras e você tem que clicar na figura que você acha mais a ver com o seu perfil e aí você passa de fase, entendeu?
Gabriel, você tá no Tinder?
Ah, você conhece?
Não, quer dizer, eu sei o que é, eu não usei.
Então presta atenção, aí você vai clicando, aí você dá match, você ganha ponto. Você pode usar um super like, que daí amplia sua chance de match, mas é um por dia que você tem só.
Gabriel, você tá entendendo o que tá acontecendo? Você tá mexendo no Tinder, na minha cara.
Caralho, Bárbara, eu não posso mexer no Facebook, não posso mexer no Instagram, caralho, não pode nem jogar joguinho mais, caralho, não tô entendendo isso.
Então tá, o que você tá fazendo aí?
Estou tentando dar match pra passar de fase, entendeu? É isso, aí você viu o bonequinho aqui, tá vendo?
Ah, é um cara.
É um cara que se eu ficar sem mulher, eu ganho menos match, né? A possibilidade de ganhar match com um homem é muito maior. Eu botei os caras aqui, eu tô porrando agora.
Aham, e aí?
E aí que você deu match, passou de fase, pronto, ganhou. Aí a próxima fase é o chat, e você tem que receber muito nude pra ganhar o jogo. Da Deep Web, você não cortou meu Candy Crush? Não proibiu jogar? Eu tive que ir na Deep Web pra achar um joguinho novo.
Deep Web, você tá usando isso agora?
Pra relaxar, Bárbara, é joguinho. Eu baixei esse agora. Quanto mais nude eu repassar, mais ponto eu ganho.
Ai, e aonde você vê essa pontuação?
No joguinho do app do Bradesco que eu baixei. Eu viciante essa porra. Eu comecei com 200 pontos, já tô com 67 mil pontos na conta.
67 mil vendendo pornografia na Deep Web? Você tá maluco, Gabriel?
Olha, esse aqui enchendo, eu já vou perder aqui.
Ai, como é que perde nessa merda?
Onde tá terminal?
Let me stop. Yes, because the final joke is not needed here, but the final joke is not needed here. So let's go back to the presentation as adults. So did everyone was able to understand the video? Hey?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so in case the internet was not working, and I'm going to use this video to give you guys a framework that you could use to apply gamification to your needs. Let's recap what the guy was saying using me, right? So for you to start in Tinder, you need to create your profile. So you create someone that really looks like you and describes you very well. This is me. Great. Now let's focus to the things that he said. He said that he decided to play with guys because he was getting more matches if he was playing with guys, and he was swiping right and left so that he would decide who he wants to play with. He also has superpowers, and sometimes he can, I don't know how it works, but force alike, something like that. And when he gets that, he levels up, he goes to the nude phase, and he gets money in the bank. So a very quick and easy game to play. And this is the Octalysis framework. There's this TED Talk explains about the guy that created this technique. I use this a lot. Thiago uses this a lot, and he's going to talk about what he does in a minute. So it's an Octalysis framework. Octalysis from 8 core drives. They are epic meaning, accomplishment, empowered of creativity and feedback, ownership, social influence, scarcity, unpredictability, and avoidance. All these 8 core drives, there are different ways for you to interpret this, and if you watch the video, you will learn more. You can also watch my videos that talk about this, and you learn a lot. So I have my YouTube channel as well. But they are examples that could help us understand and connect with the audience to say, why would they do that? So let's get the Tinder example in the Octalysis framework. The first thing is, everyone's good. The first thing is ownership. I created my own avatar. I have control on saying who I want to look like there. And I can use my creativity to put things saying how I like to exercise a lot, and that's why I'm very muscular. And I'm getting feedback because the people are connecting with me and swiping right always, right? So then there's the second stage where there is an unknown number of people that he's going to show me. So I don't know who they are going to show me. I have only one chance to decide. And there's this, I don't know who is showing, and I have limited time to decide what to do with that. The other is, now I can use my powers of swiping right and left to try to move to the next stage, or to say who are the people that I want to connect with. And I can also use my super like. I have limited amount of times I can do this per day, but it's something that I have, and this will grant me more powers to solve the problem. Once I do that, I level up. Once I level up, I share a lot of nudes, so it's something that's not available to everyone, and I can be very creative by doing that, and I'm getting points in the bank. And the only thing I need to avoid is getting arrested while doing that. So this is exactly the reverse engineer they did in that video to show how gamification is part of our lives. Tinder is not a game, right? But the way they created those triggers, the way they created those functionalities was to enhance our motivation. Like today we are talking a lot about doom scrolling and whatever. Maybe there's doom swiping because I saw a lot of people saying, just swipe everyone and see what comes out, right? So what I'm trying to teach you guys or share with you guys that for you to start implementing gamification, it's not about copying something that works. Tinder doing that, swiping his and that works. So I'm adding that mechanism to my thing. When we look at Tinder, and we were looking at Uber's statement, and in Tinder's statement is amazing. We are on a mission to power and inspire real connections by making meeting easy and fun for every new generation of singles. Hey, it looks like there's spark on the eyes when I'm selling what I'm doing. And this is because the guys have a really strong sense of why. Why are we doing this? And because we know why are we doing this, and by the use of gamification, here another amazing TED Talk for us to see, because we are using gamification, it's transformed the world as well. I don't know how it is now, but I never was a user. Hey, why? I never was a user. I never was, but we all know what this is and how it works, right? So for them to get there, it's totally about understanding our audience, right, Olesia? You're not looking at the screen and you're here. So when we are trying to understand our audience, we are always trying to find some form of archetypes, either disc, either whatever. So I got inspired by what Olesia was saying in the previous talk, and the inspiration was just to use the same colors that she had, just to make this reference here. But this is the Bartle archetypes. This is a very old study, but I feel it's very powerful and makes a lot of sense. So they say that when you are dealing with an online community, online environment, the name of the thing is hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades, players who suit moods, the Bartle archetypes. Moods is multiplayer, online, it's very old the way when this was created. So it's not caught up with our current language, but it doesn't matter. It means that when we are in a community, online or not, people that are in the community have different needs. So 1% of the people that are there are the killers, are the ones that want to do all the action and they want to be involved in everything. So these are the guys that if we are doing a leaderboard, these are the guys that are looking to be number one. And we all know what happens in a leaderboard. If we have 50 people here and we have a leaderboard, maybe five people will be looking for being number one, and the rest will say, that's not for me, right? I'm not here to be number one. I don't think I can be number one, so I'm not engaging with that. We have the achievers. The achievers are the ones that are trying to collect everything they can collect. So if we are doing continente and we are getting stamps and we want those 20 stamps, that was one of the dumbest things for me that they've done, is transforming that in something digital, right? Who is going to check in the app the stamps I have? When it was physical and we have that thing gluing the stamps, this is something way more powerful. Like I only lack 3. Right now, no one looks at it. If they don't send a push message, probably you're not redeeming those classes or whatever. There are the explorers, the ones that want to know everything about what you are doing and clicking in everything and learning all about they can do about your brand. But this is all of us, right? This is why we are here. Mostly 80% of the audience are there because they use this as a way to connect with other people, either by having something to converse about or being there to converse. So when we talk about the brands that we like, which brand that we like really has a community for people that love the brand to talk about the brand? I don't know either. So there's a huge gap here that needs to change. But right now we are only focused on transactions and points that get you nowhere. But we could use studies that already exist to say, hey, what people are looking for. As I mentioned in the beginning, maybe there's people going to Pingo Doce or Continente to connect with other people. So in Brazil, that was very common. There was on Friday, hey, job, do it.
Football clubs.
Perfect. Perfect. That's a great example. That's a great example. Good. So yes, football clubs, they have their membership. They have a lot of things for them to do there. They could be thriving in that direction. But I'll just go back to the example I was trying to make. Like in Brazil, there's Pão de Açúcar. Even the name is identical. The identity is identical. And in Pão de Açúcar, every Friday there is a wine club. So a lot of people were gathering at the supermarket to drink some wine, taste some wine, and meet new people at the supermarket. So they created something to allow people to socialize using their own environment. So this is, you've seen my brand's logo throughout the presentation. This is the thing that I try to explain to everyone. It's not that hard to start doing real gamification or valid gamification. You need to know your business goals. This is always where you start. I need to sell more. I need to sell to more people. Normally, sell is the word that we are looking for. But we need to understand the user needs, because the user, that's why we talk about a lot about gamification. There are 3.5 billion gamers in the world. Half of the population play games. And they do it only for entertainment. They do it because they like it. And the brands are saying, why are they wasting so much time doing that? Where they could be wasting 2 minutes downloading my app and doing something. So maybe I should make it look like a game to make them try to do it. Just trying and not understanding the real needs and the real thing that you are granting them will not take you there. But when you find the shared interest, then you can do a gamification that properly works. And it's not that hard, and just a simplification on how I do with the brands I work with. It's not that hard to create your brand strategy. You need to really understand your why and why your eye shines saying, hey, I'm doing this app that's going to transform the world, and we are now boarding in strangers' cars. We are understanding the shared interest, what I want and what the audience wants, and creating an app or creating a platform around that. And we are trying to use, this is one of the frameworks you could use, there are others. We are trying to use a method so that I connect users with functionality and create those things to make them use it. Okay, so I added just this extra, and then I have only benchmarks to share with you, and that's basically the end. I added this extra because most people that talk to me about gamification or games, they are always concerned about addiction, right? There's a lot of people that talk about this because of addiction. And yes, games have a secret formula to make us hooked. I'm using the word hooked here, but maybe it tries to say the same thing. But we all know those people that are definitely not gamers that play Candy Crush like crazy and say, stop, no, let me do that. And there's a secret formula behind that. So if what you need is user retention, games know that formula. So this is the example of the top 10 games that were played in the last month. I got this 3 months ago, but they were playing the last month. And yes, we have played only in the top 10 games 2 billion hours. Only in those 10 games. There are way more games out there, and we are playing way more hours than this. And the secret technique that all games know how to do it a lot, and we suck at it, at relationship strategies, at messaging and marketing, is understanding the user flow. So there's a TED Talk. This TED Talk is terrible. The book is very good. But basically the guy says about we need to understand the balance between challenge and skill. That's exactly what Candy Crush is, right? You have 3 types of fruits, and you gather them, next level. Now you have 4 types of fruits, next level. Now you have an ice. Wow. And you are, through practice and repetition, discovering something that you are good at. And yes, we could start philosophing how we could transport the abilities on Candy Crush to real life. It's really possible. Because it's also possible, this is a very good question, like, what are people really getting good at on games? Like Counter-Strike. If you don't know what it is, it's 5-on-5, terrorists against police, shooting each other in the head. If it's not in the head, you don't know what you're doing. So we are getting good at shooting people in the head. That's not true, right? It's instant decision, it's planning your next step. There's so many things that we are practicing when we are doing that. The shooting in the head is just the ludic element. It's just maybe the fun element for some, for others are repulsive, but this is just the context. This is not what we are getting good at, okay? So, benchmarks. The first one, who here has car? Please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, very few. 5 people here have car. So for you who have car, what do you think is the most used app that we have? Waze?
Waze or Google. I use both.
Okay, So let me share this story. I really think that Waze is the success it is due to gamification, but I want to share this story, how Waze used gamification amazingly in my point of view, but no one knows this story. So in the past, maybe 7 years ago, more, 10 years ago, in Brazil, internet was very expensive. I didn't have internet to use my phone through the journey from work to home. And then they launched this. It was there's a new Star Wars movie, I don't remember how, and you could change the voice of the narrator for C-3PO. And when you did that, you were not only changing the voice, you were changing the whole experience. So the idea was, you put C-3PO, you put your journey to home, and then he say, I'm not using the voice, thankfully, but I'm cold, so maybe I can do the arms. And then he say, oh, R2-D2 got lost again, and we need to find him. And throughout the journey from work to home, he was giving me nonsense things like, when traffic was harder, he would say, oh my God, there's an asteroid field and we need to go slower. But stay in this route because we are almost there. And when we got home, yes, we found him and wherever. So the path from going from work to home became a journey, a fun journey. And because I wanted to see if there were other lines, crazy lines, if I moved the direction, I wanted to see that because it was very interesting. And if you want to test this out now, they just did that with Venom. But don't use it, it sucks, it's terrible. They lost the essence. It's very bad. You could put this, there's no journey. It's just a guy and the dummy saying dummy things. So there are some fun lines, but it's not the same journey, okay? But yes, for us who have cars, we think it's Waze because it has the same radars Volkswagen warned us. Waze is the best app to show me radars that are not the fixed one, the moving radars. Because Waze works solely on the community adding things. There's traffic, there's accidents, there's new radars and things like that. So if we have cars, we think we need Waze. But Google Maps solves way more problems, right? The use is the same, how to get there. And Google Maps doesn't do only giving me signs. I could book the restaurant, I could do so many more things with Google Maps. And so it's not just because there are more people that don't have car than people that have car. It's because gamification will never surpass solving a user's need. Because it's fun, because it's engaging. If it's not solving all my problems, I don't need that, okay? Another one, for who was here for Rick's talk about CEO, he was talking heavily, he couldn't be here and he's sorry, he was talking heavily about one client of his, the bird feeder, bird buddy. And when I saw that, I said, oh my God, my dream just changed because I want to have a house, because I need dogs and I need the barbecue, right? As I told in the beginning. But the third thing that was added in my dream is the bird buddy. Because it's just a bird feeder with a camera and an app. And what the app does is he messages you when a bird goes to your bird feeder and say, hey, you have a new visitor. And then the video is very interesting and funny, but it's too long and don't show just this image what we need. Hey, you have a new visitor, and you tap on the app, and the AI says, it's an European robin, and you don't have one yet. Add to your collection. So you click that, and it takes the photo, and it's now in your collection, and now the birds became Pokemons in your phone. And hey, I need this. So if you have a home, let's look for it. And now I'm going to give the floor to my friend Thiago to talk about his business around gamification and games that I think you guys will feel very interesting. And I'll be back in 5 to 7 minutes.
Okay, I will run.
It's down. The camera is here.
So, thank you for inviting me today, and thank you all. Basically, Renato was talking about gamification, and what we do, what I do basically is gamification, but for a different perspective or for a different reason. So I've been working in big industries for 15 years I worked, but I was passionate about games since I was 8. I exchanged my pacifier by a video game, and nowadays when I get angry, what pacifies me is the video game. So I found a way to connect the two things, the experience I had in the corporate environment and the passion for games. And I started Kubo Experience in Brazil in 2017. And basically what we do is we use gamification, we use a lot of those elements like Bartle tests and Octalysis to create games and gamification for different uses, like training, like team buildings, like selection processes, events. And what we do basically is we understand the needs of the contractor, so the person who is hiring me. I understand what behaviors, what exactly contents he needs the person to understand, and then I create a game or a gamification strategy to make sure that people who will be in the game or in the gamification will learn about that or will change behavior. That's the idea. So you can see here some of the events we've made lately. This was Colgate here in Portugal. This one, it was a sales convention in Brazil, and that one was a 3-day workshop and games with an annual convention for a company from
Pharmaceutical
in Dubai. So, how we do that? Oh, sorry, the last.
Down.
Yes, down. So, this is one example of gamification used for an event, an online event. So we built a platform, gamification platform that was used by around 2,500 people in 3 days. The idea was to engage the leads of that specific company. It's a tech company in Brazil called Take Blink. And they wanted people, technical people, to go into that website and that platform to learn about their features, about their services. So what we do was we create kind of you see there was some quests, so people would go and talk to NPCs. They would get quests. They would have to solve those quests in some time. And while they were doing that, they could go to several different areas of the company and they could play little games. Like we talked about Angry Birds. There was an Angry Bird alike game. It's not here, but each of these games there was a story. And the story was about a feature that the company could help the technical guys to solve. And then they would play the game, they would get points, they would be in the leaderboard, and while they were doing that, they were learning about the features of the company. So it was kind of a lot of time they played. The average time per player was more than 3 hours, and over 6,000 views on the videos that they had there. It was much more than the year before that they didn't use gamification. And over 16,000 downloads of rich material, like PDFs and things like that. So it was a nice way to show the features. And in this game, for instance, they would find some important information about who was the user. And then there, it was like a cafe who was trying to find out who the best user was on that region. And then you would find the small elements, and that's done by an AI for them. So they wanted to say, okay, that's what our AI do. They analyze the people who are there and understand their needs. So that was the idea of that specific game. And there was even a multiplayer game where you would battle in a dance contest. So it was really nice, and several of those motivation drivers that Renato said was here. So there was scarcity, there was epic meaning, there was creativity. With the avatar, for instance, there was the challenge, the flow that he says, it's all here. That's one case. The other one was a virtual escape game that we did for marketing a stand in an event, a training event in Brazil. And basically, people would go to the place, the stand, to learn about the services, and they would go there to learn, but they would also play the game, which was a virtual escape room. Do you know Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes? And does anyone know that game? Yeah? No? Okay. Basically, it's a game where you have a virtual place, you are there, you have a bomb, and you have to disarm the bomb, and to do so you need instructions from someone who is outside of the virtual world. So you need to talk to this person because you need to say, okay, this bomb has, I don't know, a dial and then 2 wires and then there's like, and then the person who is out needs to find that information and say, okay, so cut the red wire. So what we did here was almost the same, but with escape rooms. So they had to put those cards on the right order, and to do so they needed information from whoever was in the stand looking at whatever was happening there. So it was a lot of fun, but a lot of engagement with the services and the content. And then this one is the auto show in Brazil. It's the biggest one in Latin America, and we created an escape room, and that was a physical escape room. That was a kind of a car there, and people would have to find the key. Basically, they were late for their flight, so they needed to find the key and turn the key and go and leave the place, which was a kind of a camp site. And to do so, they needed to solve some riddles. And those riddles were all about the services from the Movida. It's a rent-a-car there. So they learned about radio Movida, the Wi-Fi, the Movida carbon free, so several different features or services they had. The players learned through the game, which is much more fun, much more engaging, and memorable. Because when you do something that you have an action and then you have an emotion that connects, that's why we remember. So if I just get a paper and say, okay, that's what we have as a new feature, I'll say, okay, I will crush that, and in 5 minutes I forget everything. And with the game, people were talking. It was kind of a full stand, 1,450 people in 10 days. So it was a crazy line because they wanted to play the game. Okay? So this one is 3 different, my time.
Do it. Do it.
Already, so.
No, do it.
So 3 different digital games for dermatology congress. So imagine that we had to make the doctors go through 3 new products from this company, from this pharmaceutical company. So the way we did was create 3 games. They would play the game in a tablet. They could leave, but they say, okay, all of the doctors participated in the 3 activities, even though they weren't mandatory, because they liked to play the game. So that was a way to engage the users. So that's it for me. It's just to show how we can use gamification in a marketing environment to drive behavior, to engage, to acquire people, and several other things that we can do. So that's it. Okay.
Thanks, man. So, final slides. I also brought our friend Felipe. He couldn't be with us today, but most of you that are regulars here know Felipe. So Felipe is just launching this Arena's Quest. It's a game that he developed to help in creative process to unleash creativity, rapid thinking, and giving random challenges and bringing the repeatability that we were talking about. So it's very interesting. Me and Thiago played. He's fine-tuning it, to be honest. I can't say that, but he's launching this tomorrow, but as a soft launch, and he will launch later this year, and you all probably will be able to get access to it. So it's very fun, and Felipe is doing a very good job on that. I also wanted to have Max here, but the guy, I met him yesterday, and the guy suffered an accident. I don't have details, but he's sending me messages saying, I'm sorry, he's not here. So the guy just created this game, Zag, and it's a game for you to have ice breaking or to network. So basically, he creates a QR code. He has created a QR code for here today, but he didn't come. Basically, and the app's not 100%, but he wants to test it out with us so he can get feedback. Basically, you get the QR code from the place you are in. If you already have an account, great, your answers are there. And if not, you go with Google and you answer some questions. So it's basically 1 truth, 2 lies, and you answer that for things that you are proud of or scared of, like I'm scared of spiders. We did that together, right, Daniela? Or funny, or whatever. So it's the topic, the main topic. You write that, and then you look for people in the room, in the app. So in the app, let's say I'm in a coffee. Christina is always in a coffee. She's always saying, I'm in a coffee, and I'm here doing my work, and there's more people here doing that work. Can I look in the app to see if there's someone here that could want to take an open chair that I have? The app is a way for you to talk with the people. Are you trying to say stop right now? Okay, because you're coming so slow. So the app is a way to say, I thought she was going to tell me something very dramatically, right? The app is there for you to meet new people where you are and give this conversation starter. So you start conversing about something and you try to answer because you have time to answer, so the conversation needs to speed up, and now you had some fun and now you can keep conversing about new things. So very interesting. Here's his LinkedIn. When you will receive the material, you can find him, and I hope it works because I tested it and thought it was very interesting. So final step. I talked about this night about gamification. We talk about games, and that's the main question, right? Aren't it what you were saying, just games? Because I said in the beginning that everything is kind of a game. And us marketeers, we also have a lot of concepts that you probably have heard, like advert games, simulations, or serious games. So I added the slides, and then I'm going to start showing you 2 benchmarks of mine, and we are done. Advert game is a game created where you put the brand inside of a game, and the game was just made for entertainment. So yes, there's Pepsi in whatever we are doing here, and it's like a Flappy Bird or whatever it is, a run game where the product is there. But the only reason why we have this game is for some entertainment. Simulations, this is from our friend Edu. So you all know about like these Formula One simulators. There's this bike simulator that the guy has, is amazing. If you guys don't know what this is, but basically you put the thing in your bike, and then now you are racing marathons from your house with people from all over the world, and amazing. But when you say these simulations are getting us into crazy places, just remember that for the past 30 or more years, all the flights that we take, people learn in simulators, right? In flight simulators. So simulations are things that try to replicate the world so that you could try that thing and you could get better at something. And serious games is a bit more complex when we try to mix with gamification, because using the basic concept is when a game is designed with a purpose that's beyond entertainment. So it could be applied to a lot of things. So this could be a serious game, gamified and whatever. So things start piling up. So I'm going to show you guys now 2 benchmarks of mine, and we are wrapping up. This is just things here from Portugal. So I don't know if you guys have the McDonald's app. Very recently, they had this game there where you scan your face. Very nice guy here. And basically, he will scan your mood and give you 30% discount on whatever sandwich, a random sandwich. I don't know if they are doing this yet, because it's the same shit as Pingo Doce. Who has Pingo Doce app? You have to shake. What? 3 people only? You guys don't have Pingo Doce app? You're crazy. And you are right, because it doesn't work for nothing. And Pingo Doce is doing this dumb thing for 2 years now, but at least I'm here for 2 years, and they are doing this. The only thing they do is change the pattern. So probably if you open the app now, it will be Halloween, and then it will be Christmas, and every time you go to Pingo Doce, you could shake the app and get some random discount. It's the same thing as scanning your face. It's a random discount for something that you don't want to buy, okay? So I'm going to show you my case. So this is Burger King Brazil. We have 18 million users there that have the app, because maybe some apps are more interesting than others. And it's the same fucking game. Just shake the app. And why does this app have 50% of all purchases are read by the app? And users that use the app spend 5 times more. So why this shake and win worked there and it's not working here? The premise that we had for Burger King was very simple. When we work on physical places, when it's 11:30, we need to decide where to eat, right? So when we are starting to decide who is going to eat together and where to eat, if maybe there's a chance to get a free meal, it's very different from the other approaches. If there's a chance to get a free meal, either a sandwich, either an ice cream or whatever, hey, I got the ice cream. Hey, let's go to Burger King, guys. I got it. Or maybe someone in your team. And there's always lines, so you always go with someone. So if I gave one for free for someone that's at work and is going to come with friends, Makes sense? And the real thing is you have only 30 minutes to redeem. So if you shake the app and you win and you are not here in 30 minutes, I'm sorry. So that's why this was a big game changer for them. We did this 3 years ago, 2.5 or 3 years ago. KFC did the same idea in London and got a lot of awards. So it's the same thing, but adding more elements that make sense with the user journey, with the user motivation, okay? Final one, this is for Volkswagen Brazil. They do this sales incentive campaign for the past 15 years, and they have this name that they are so passionate about, Territory Volkswagen. And when I started working with them, I said, territory is just dirt beyond, like, it's not the car flying, right? What? This was original idea 15 years ago, something looking like the Sims and the dealerships and the people were there. But right now it's very modern, and territory is just a way to say that cars are not flying. So what we did, wow, this never should happen. Thiago, you are hacking my things, man. So the discussion with them was, how can we bring back the essence, the territory, to the essence of the relationship? And as you can see here, this is the new revamped communications, and there are some elements here, like when you see that the territory, there's this hexagons or octagons or hexagons, right? And some people's face here, this is a hint to say, what have we changed? So what we've changed, and let me say this first. At the beginning, I was always saying it doesn't need to be fun or look like a game, but when it does, it works a lot as well. So what we did is, territory is now a digital territory, a digital map. When you go to the website to see the cars that you are selling, now instead of having a leaderboard that was just saying Thiago is first and I'm the bottom 20%, I don't care, now there's a physical territory where people are getting their slots to be part of the travel, no, the voyage, I don't know the correct word. At the end of the year, they will get the amazing trip. So now the ranking is something that exists in the virtual world, and my face is there, and I know what I'm doing, not in a bank extract. I know it in a very simplified way. So you sold this many cars, you made so many test drives, you have reached so many goals throughout the months, and we can use that to decide who is going to take places in that ranking, because most problems with leaderboards is that it's passive, right? You go into the website and you see, I'm not top 10, screw it. Or why am I not top 10? It's not easy to understand that. So if we make it like there's the virtual territory, there's Thiago's face, and there's a hint there saying, hey, click on Thiago, because now you have more sales than him, and you can collect that territory for you. This is a physical activity that you are doing. You are getting possession of something, and now you want to keep that. So we are adding those activities to something that was normally just bland. I would never interact with that, but now I'm interacting, I'm taking ownership for my results. And we are also, of course, converting this into physical. So you guys probably know Supertramp, and Volkswagen did that. And what we want to do is the guys that won the trip at the end of the year become physical cards that we can play with them. And I can show my kids, and he will be proud. And we can do this every year and create collections. Like, I want to be featured at that card every year. Of course, this is not for sale, but they have 4,000 sales guys. So they are printing 4,000 decks, and a lot of families will enjoy this idea, right? So this was the gamification workshop. I'm Renato Carbone, Loyalty Strategist with my brand Tinkering Loyalty, that helps brand incentivize through loyalty and gamification. I've been doing this for the past 15 years. I've done this to multiple industries, and that's why by doing that and by seeing all those programs that fail because we're giving points that were going nowhere, I decided to learn more about this and learn more about gamification. How could we change that? I've won awards and by doing that, and I'm really proud of that. And I've worked with a lot of brands, globally or not. And for you guys, if you could scan this QR code to give a feedback on the talk, I would be very much appreciated. That's it. Questions? You, man. You're next. Sorry, my friend. Go.
So, which gamification framework for designing you're mostly using?
Octalysis framework, the 8 core drives that we're talking. The TED Talk, the video of him, he gives so many great examples for each core drive. The most important thing about that framework is that there's not only a unique answer, and the method also shows you how to evolve through time, how you do the MVP, how you grow in the user journey. So the Octalysis framework is a great technique for you to start pitching your ideas on how to get what Tinder is doing and seeing why that could connect with your audience. Okay?
And there is a book.
And there's a book, big book. It's a great name. What's the start? Yes, actionable gamification. Beyond points, badges, and leaderboards. That's the most problem that we have. There's someone right beside, right? Yes, you can go.
I mean, I've heard of many use cases for gamification, but what I'm most interested in is how to make money or crypto. So, do you have any suggestions for the best gamification to earn, like crypto to earn kind of games?
Crypto to earn?
Like play to earn.
Okay, play to earn. So the most important thing I have to share with you is it's not the Octalysis framework, it's the user motivation, right? Why will they play your game? In most crypto platforms, play to earn platforms, they are trying to take us when we go to the bathroom, they are trying to take us in small activities, something for us, unfortunately, that's how we are. We think that we need to have our brain active at all time. I can't wait for 5 seconds. Like if I'm in line for 5 seconds, I'm getting my phone and I'm doing something. So yes, you could focus on those small moments, on users' motivations. That's the main question. Why will they play whatever? And it doesn't matter what they are going to play. It could be Flappy Bird. Most crypto platforms just copy basic games like what's the one that you wanted to? The one with the Angry Birds. They copy the most played games at the moment and give you 5 seconds satisfaction. Like I'm doing this, more 5 seconds satisfaction, get 1 more coin. And to be honest, that's why all the crypto platforms that are giving you crypto are showing you ads for games, right? All of them are a bunch of ads for games so that you can play those games, that the puzzle, the guy in the snow, the whatever. I can't do that anymore, but they're always basic games just with a different cover like Pingo Doce, just to keep people saying it's new or fresh, but it's not. Okay? Sorry, that's not an incredible answer because it's the user, right? Thank you. Anyone else?
I have a question.
Oh. She is closer. Is you.
I have a question for you.
Come.
I saw, like you explained your project for the requirement process.
Okay, yeah.
And I have a question about that. So I understood that companies, all they spend money on is because they can have money back. basically. How can this ensure some money back to a company? Of course, it's a way to earn good quality employers, but about money, how does this work?
Talking about the recruitment process. Basically, when HR looks for something like that, okay, it depends on the culture or where you are, but in Brazil, what they use that for, basically it's a lot of different people, a lot of different companies, and people are choosing where to work. So if you start your recruitment process with a gamification, they say, okay, that's fun, so I will try, I will go there. Then when they go through the game, basically the HR team and the managers, they are looking at how you interact, and there they are assessing some of your soft skills, basically. And when you do that and you hire with based on soft skills and not only on technical skills, usually that's when you connect the culture. So you reduce turnover. You reduce turnover. You make people more engaged with the company culture, and that makes them like the investment they do on the recruitment process. They will not have to do it again soon because the people will be there. So basically, that's how we sell that. So use gamification. People, you get good people. You will learn about the people, and then they will not leave your company soon. So gamification makes the turnover reduce a lot.
And not only that, right, man? Hiring the wrong person is the most expensive thing companies have, and we all work at companies, and we know that there's a lot of people there that were not the correct person, but we already decided, we changed their lives, they leave their other job to be here. Now we need to make that person work, but it was so limited time that we had to learn about them. It's like Tinder, right? He faked it, and now we need to make it work. So this gives more quality. This gives more quality to that process, and it's an investment that doesn't have direct return of investment for them to calculate, but they know that they are investing in the right things.
Yeah, and when they are playing the game, like they're not faking, they cannot fake. Like for 5 minutes, they may even remember that they are being assessed, but then 5 minutes later, they are like they are. We are going through a recruitment process for Kraft Heinz now. And some interns, they're playing the game, there are managers, HR managers, and they are like swearing all the time. It's okay, man, we have to do that, and then they are crazy about the game that they forget they're being assessed. So that's where you get the people.
So let me take this because we are on time to wrap, but there's Gabriela, Job, and Celia. So Gabriela, go sweet and short. Your question.
Okay, thank you for your presentation, so nice. And I got why it's good to do it and all the cases that you have done and worked well. But have you done something that didn't work, and can you share why? Like this?
A lot. A lot. But basically, the most reason why it fails is because we had wrong premises. We have assumed that the users wanted things, but we didn't really ask them. We asked the boss, right? The guy that agrees on doing this or that. He sees the world in a way, and his words count more. And sometimes, even by being an outside consultant, you don't have the force to say, so don't do it. And that's the main reason why it fails, not listening to the user. Okay? Job?
I'm curious, like, when do you use an infinite perspective in a game, and when do you use a finite perspective for a game that you designed for a company before?
The beginning of your class, infinite and finite, it was...
That's something I learned, I don't know where, but you have an infinite game and a finite game. An infinite game, that's the point of the game is to keep on playing.
Exactly.
And a finite game is a game with certain...
Perfect. So this is another great reason why it failed. Every time we are doing the strategy for that, the people on the other side of the table only thinks on the finite. Let's get Continente and Pingo Doce as an example. They design a journey for me to get points or cashback if I buy someday, and 10 days after I need to come back and use that. And then we are still their customers. But the game is not evolving. I don't want to play that game over and over and over. It lost sense. So it's very hard to say that a game is finite. For me, a finite game is, for example, a book. You read a book and you went to the end. It's finite. It's in your shelf. But sometimes you want to take that out again. So for me, it's very hard to say that we are doing finite games, and when we are doing it, there's a specific purpose. Like Thiago, I'm doing this for this event. I want you to play this and learn this, and that's the end. But when we are designing relationship strategies, that's my case. I'm hardly at that stage. Okay?
Can I just
do it?
Like the
Sweet and short.
Form that I showed. That was for a specific event for 3 days. It wouldn't work if it was for a year, because it would be all of the same
boring
again and again
yeah.
and again. So it was for 3 days. They needed to rush people into there and learn. So it's different. So if you want people like learning and development, like a learning LMS. So if you want people to keep engaged, you have to change the game all the time, and that's what you're saying about an infinite game. It's not only one game. It's several different mechanics going on.
If you have a certain goal and you need one certain outcome, you would go for a finite perspective. And if you want to play the long-term game, better retention and everything, you would go with a infinite perspective to
basically
engage the process.
Okay, Celia, you have the last one.
Okay, I'll be quick. Because you're talking about using gamification for customer retention, training, even to avoid turnover. But how would you apply that for a software, for example? Talking about myself.
Perfect.
Well,
Yeah.
Maybe I could apply gamification to my software to actually increase user adoption, for example.
Yeah. So the first step is define the audience. Great. You have different audience. You have the manager. You have whatever. Then you need to define the behaviors. What are the behaviors that you want to incentivize? What are the behaviors that you expect from them? I want them to put the data in this order. I want them to check the reports. I want them to push notifications to the team for this or that, depending on what the app does, okay? And when you have those behaviors, with those behaviors in hand, now you can go and understand the user. Why the user don't want to feel that? Why the user are not engaging with that? Okay, I know what I want as a business perspective. I know the users and their pains, and now I'm going to find a way or define a mechanism and define a trigger that will motivate them to do that more. They could do it, for instance, don't do that, okay? But just one example that they do it a lot, like if you fill in your reports every day and you get a booster, and if you do it for 30 days, now you get 1 day extra to deliver the process because you didn't do it. For instance, in the vendor manager, okay? If they are doing the feedbacks every day, if they are complying with the dailies, if they are moving the things every day, they are getting experience bar, and that experience bar needs to grant them something. They will grant them one way where the squad screwed, that they can call you and say, I'm using my card, my experience points, something happened, and we are pushing the sprint 1 week. So now you give something for the vendors to say, I'm being compliant because I'm doing exactly what they expect, because this is giving me confidence in relationship, and I know that I can call and say, something went wrong, give me a week.
So we're talking a few months.
Yeah. So that's it, guys. But that's it just with a joke. At the beginning, I said there was a hard question, and there was a dilemma there. So I love video games. This is one of my favorite games. Someone said this is Zelda. This is one of my favorite games, Zelda Breath of the Wild. And it starts like this. A guy lost in a cave, very cold. I'm still cold. Lost in a cave. He forgot who he is. He forgot what he was doing there. And then he opened the door. And when he opens the door, the light sun came in, and it blinds us. If we are in the game, the light is so brightened that we can see either. And this, for me, is the power that games bring to our life, this context, this narrative. Maybe you remember this, and I remember this from Plato's Cave. So it's not everyone that knows that, but Plato's Cave is the theory where there are guys that are chain in a cave, and they can't look at the sun. There's a fireplace there, and everything that's going in the outside world are just reflections, just shadows in the cavern. And they don't know what's the reality. But then one guy gets loose, and then he starts his journey going out to the outside world. And I'm just using this thing because for me, it's been this hard journey talking about gamification. If you go to ChatGPT, there are quick answers about that. There's a lot of science behind this. All brands are doing those points that we don't want. So I feel like I'm swimming against the current, and I'm very no. The thank you was. No, it was not Thiago, it was me. The thank you was just because like being able to do this and share this knowledge with you guys is when I feel like the world is changing and can be this beautiful place. Okay? Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
One more.
DMK Tribe.
DMK Tribe. Yes, muchas. Thank you.